It's something to talk about.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm covering Shagwell the Fool again. So, yeah, pretty excited. If you don't know what's going on here, go ahead and pause this, read this. This is my remake of Shagwell the Fool. I'm running out of my characters are remake. My videos are getting smaller, but this is where my list is getting smaller. There's me going back and covering the characters who I did very early in my covering the Song of Ice and Fire characters, and I'm trying to do a better job the second time because I think I got better at it. Did I get better at it? I don't know, man. Let me know. So yeah, Shagwell the Fool. So first things first, massive trigger warning. If you are not a big fan of that SA stuff and all that horrible crap that he's a big fan of, please don't watch this. There's a lot of violence on women, especially certain type of violence on women. And if that's going to ruin your day, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to ruin your day. I'm just trying to make a stupid A Song of Ice and Fire lore video. So if that's going to ruin your day, please leave. That's not what I want. So it's not my goal. But yeah, you can't really talk about Shagwell without. I edited. I have quotes of him, and I tried to do my best to edit, and then finally I'm just like, I have to stop quoting. All right, let's get into Shagwell the Fool. So Shagwell, also called Shagwell the Fool, and Shags, is a psychotic jester and a member of the Brave Companions, a barbaric mercenary company. Oh yeah, spoilers. Did I say that? It's written here, and I put it in all caps, but some people still don't see that they're spoilers. Shagwell is a wispy fool. He's got a wispy voice. Is that wispy? I think it is. Whose laugh is a shrill and brang. Is that like that? Sorry. I'm just trying to figure it out. The sellsword is a predator, that type of predator, who tells cruel jokes and is said to be half mad. Sir Jaime Lannister considers Shagwell one of the worst members of the Brave Companions. There are rumors that Shagwell once killed a man for not laughing at one of his japes. Shagwell wears green and pink or gray and pink motley. He is nimble and fights with a triple morning star, so 3 spiked balls on a chained wooden half. So George calls flails morning stars. So it's a 3-balled flail. It's kind of a devastating, nasty weapon. He recently went up against the Weeper in my Song of Ice and Fire tournament this year, which I'm sure is still going down when you're watching this. And he lost. I was surprised. I thought that ball and chain will get you pretty far, but nope. The Brave Companions. So the Brave Companions are a sellsword company considerable ill repute from Essos. The company comprises of criminals and outcasts from many nations. Their numbers consist of scum of the West and a few from the East and South. Unlike most soldiers, the violent Brave Companions are considered to be malignantly cruel. Yeah, they're nasty. They're nasty folk. Led by Vargo Hote of Qohor, the band is called the Bloody Mummers for their brutality and outlandish appearance, though they find the name insulting. Well, who cares? I don't care if they're insulted. They are also called footmen or Vargo's practice of cutting off hands and feet of prisoners and the toes of the goat for their standards. Which depicts a black goat and bloody horn symbolizing the black goat of Qohor. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah. I'm only trying to stall because he's just so nasty to talk about. I have way too much here, too. It's going to be a good video. Please, if Shagwell's going to be too much for you to handle, please get out of here because the first thing I'm going to show you is him cutting people's heads off and making them talk to each other. And that is the least messed up of the video. All right, the fall of Harrenhal. That was fast. When Arya is being held by the Mountainsmen and at Harrenhal, Shagwell is among the Brave Companions who arrive at Harrenhal under the employ of Tywin Lannister. The Bloody Mummers bring 100 Northmen to Harrenhal as prisoners. Arya sees this as an opportunity to free the men, as in the Northmen, and take over the castle and escape. Turns out that was the plan the entire time, and the brave companions were flipping their allegiance to the North. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Arya is there being held, and after Tywin leaves, the brave companions show up. Brave companions are with Tywin at first, right? So first it's the mountain there with her, and then Tywin shows up and is running it, and then he brings the brave companions in, and then he leaves, and the brave companions leave, or I believe he leaves with Amory Lorch in charge, who, by the way, is one of the greatest fighters of all time, is what I found out via my tournament recently. Amory Lorch, best there is. Anyways, I'm not bitter about it. And so Amory Lorch is there, and then the brave companions come back with a bunch of Northmen, and it's all just a ruse to take over to the castle. Arya doesn't know this, and she does this like whole thing with weasel soup and does like this entire elaborate scheme to free a bunch of Northmen. And as she does that, it turns out they were just going to do that anyway. So she's just a small cog in this mutiny that she had no idea she was a part of. So yeah, which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, turns out that was a plan the entire time. Afterwards, Harrenhal is under the control of the Boltons. Shagwell hacks off two of the two heads of dead knights from Sir Amory Lorch's garrison, and prances through the castle, swinging the heads by their hair and mockingly making them talk to each other. That's lovely. So they're talking about their own cause of death. Hello, how'd you die? Well, it's an interesting story. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Shagwell spreads the story of the quote weasel soup. So that's Arya making soup, and her name was Weasel. So he's trying to like rat on Arya. And Arya starts involvement in the castle's fall, which prompts Arya to consider adding him to the prayer list. But her fear of Shagwell negates this thought. Yeah, she's so afraid of Shagwell that she won't put him on her list. That's kind of crazy. As Roose Bolton takes control of the castle, Shagwell grabs Arya and presents her to her brother Rob's Bannerman as the weasel who made the soup, and Bolton asks her name, and Arya says Nan. And the Lord of the Dreadfort, Roose Bolton, then asks if she's afraid of leeches, for he claims that a man must purge himself of bad blood. When Arya tells him that she is not afraid, Bolton names her his cupbearer. Arya watches as the bloody members parade Sir Amory around naked. Then Shagwell kicks him into the bear pit and feeds him to a bear. All right, moving on. Yeah, you guys remember that stuff in the show where she's hanging out with Tywin? That doesn't happen in the books, but it's Roose Bolton instead, and she helps get them leeched and stuff. I don't know. Actually, what's one change in the show I actually like more? I like her time with Tywin that little bit more than her time with Bolton. But yeah. Anyways, the Hand. Lord Bolton tasks the brave companions of rooting out the Lannister forces in surrounding countryside. He uses his past affiliation, or they use their past affiliation with Lord Tywin to fool Lannister garrisons that are unaware of their betrayal before seizing and returning with bags of gold that they originally paid them, as well as baskets of heads. If you don't know what the heck I just said, so they're already working for Lannisters before they flipped, right? So they walked around and they're like, hey, where are the brave companions? Hey, do you know anything about any of this? Are you helping the North? And all the people who helped them, they paid gold. But then when they flipped to the North, they walked up to the people who they know helped them, and they're like, you're working with Lannisters. And then takes the gold they paid and then arrests them. It's pretty messed up. When you were the Lannisters. Yes, and I was evil then. Come on, I'm evil now. The brave companions. So yeah, it's pretty messed up. Shagwell asks Arya a riddle. She goes, a riddle. If Lord Bolton's goat eats the men who feed the Lannister's goat, how many goats are there? And she says, 1. And he goes, now there's a clever goat. Or no, there's a weasel clever as a goat. I don't know if that's the voice I'm going with. I think it is. During Jaime and Brienne's trip back to King's Landing near Maidenpool, Cleos Frey, if you guys don't know what's going on here, is killed, and Jaime picks up his sword and they fight, and he fights Brienne. So that's a thing. Yeah, sorry, I paused it because I thought I had to sneeze and I didn't. So when they're like fighting, right, Brienne and Jaime, and then when they look up, a number of men are surrounding them, and Jaime recognizes them as the brave companions. They quickly inform them that they have gone over to the Starks. Jaime and Brienne are severely beaten and taken prisoner. Urswick brings them to Vargo Hoat, the leader of the Brave Companions. Jaime tries to persuade Vargo Hoat in releasing them for a ransom. The goat replies that he will give Jaime's father a message. Shagwell kicks out Jaime's legs and jumps on his back, like bending him over essentially, and allowing Zolo to chop off his sword hand. So a lot of people credit Zolo for the of Jaime's hand, but Shagwell like holds him down for it. He's part of it too, right? It's pretty messed up. Kicks out his feet and holds him down, and Zolo's like, "Gah." Oof. All right. Roose's Harrenhal. On the way to Harrenhal, Jaime's wound is infected, and he is feverish from the loss of his hand. Jaime grabs Timian's sword one morning and tries to escape or just be killed. He's okay with being killed. He's like, I'm going to either fight or you guys are going to kill me, and either way, that's getting me out of this situation. Shagwell hopped towards Jaime and dodged all of the night swings by jumping side to side and spinning and ducking and darting and all of the until all the bloody mummers are laughing. So Jaime grabs Timian's sword and he's like, you guys are either going to kill me or I'm going to kill you. And then Shagwell jumps at him and he's swinging, trying to hit Shagwell. And keep in mind, it's his left hand, so he's not doing this. Sorry, he's doing this. It's his left hand. His right hand's gone. Also, he's super beaten and malnourished, so this is not normal Jaime Lannister at all. And Shagwell's like, yeah, no, you're not going to hit anything. And everyone just starts laughing at the sight of, like, Jaime not being able to hit Shagwell the Fool, right? Yeah, everyone's laughing. Jaime trips and falls as he's walking backwards. He trips and falls. So Shags plants a wet kiss on Jaime's head. Ugh. Rorge pushes the Jester aside and takes the sword from Jaime. Later, Shagwell, Zolo, and Rorge attempt to assault Brienne. And Jaime saves her again by yelling sapphires loud enough for the goat to hear. And then he claims she can be ransomed for sapphires from her Lord Father, Lord Selwyn Tarth. Once at Harrenhal, Shagwell suggests that Jaime be thrown into Harrenhal's bear pit, but Vargo and Roose refuse. Bolton leaves Harrenhal to the goat and lets Jaime head south. While leaving, Jaime sees some brave companions in the yard, including Shagwell, and he mocks them. He walks up and starts messing with them, and he asks Shag if he has any last jests, and they just tell him to bugger off. Yeah, he's just messing with, any last jokes, Shagwell? And they're all like, just leave, dude. Okay, so we already did Arya's point of view and then Jaime's point of view. Now we're skipping ahead to Brienne's point of view. Shagwell gets around in people's POVs. He's one of those characters. Fool the Fool. Brave companions scatter with the capture of Harrenhal by Sir Gregor Clegane. Jaime hopes to find Pig and Shagwell in Harrenhal's dungeon when he returns to the castle, but they've already departed. Pig, Timian, and Shagwell torture an outlaw from their Brotherhood without banners and learn that Sandor Clegane was with Arya Stark. And they later hear a similar story from an innkeep at the Crossroads Inn. The inn at the Crossroads. The sellswords go to Maidenpool to find passage across the narrow sea to Essos, but the docks are guarded by Lord Randall Tarley's men, so the fool instead entertains at the Stinking Goose and buys drinks for sailors, hoping that the three outlaws can be smuggled from Westeros on a ship. Dick Crab, one of my favorite characters, Nimble Dick Crab here, cons Shagwell into buying a map to the Whispers, which he says is a popular smuggler's cove. Dick omits that ships have not been there for over 30 years, and the sellswords camp in the ruins after they arrive. Yeah, kind of jumping ahead, but we're all learning this in different order. Brienne shows up, doesn't know that it's Shagwell. Dick, she's looking for Dantos, right, with Sansa. And then it's like, hey, I heard you talk to a fool. And he goes, yeah, I fool the fool. Nimble Dick Crab. Yep. And she's like, okay, that's probably Dantos. So where do they go? So she's going to go to the Whispers thinking it's Dantos, but really she's chasing Shagwell, which of course is the last person you want to run into, right? He's a nasty customer. So Brienne doesn't know that. Brienne is tasked by Jaime of finding Sansa Stark and Arya, who has gone missing, and after the death of King Joffrey. Sansa is believed to be in the company of Dantos Hollard, another fool. Brienne learns that Dick is boasting of fool the fool, and Dick later agrees to escort Brienne to the Whispers so she can find the fool in question. Oh man, the Whispers. When Brienne, Dick, and Podrick Payne arrive at the Whispers, Brienne commands Pod to wash their horses as she and Dick investigate the ruins. When they find a recently put out cook fire, Brienne realizes that their quarry is still around. The trap is soon sprung, and the fool turns out to be Shagwell from the Bloody Members. Dun, dun, dun. So Pig jumps out of the bushes with a broken sword, and Timian crawls out of the well. Shags jumps down from a weirwood, braying with laughter, and explodes Nimble Dick's knee with his triple morning star. Wham! That is the most brutal. Oh my God, I hated it. He jumps down from a weirwood tree and then just goes boom, and you just the visualizing an exploding knee. Just that's so vicious. And then Shades goes, "That's funny," as he breaks his knee. Shagwell crowed as Dick fell. "Oh look, it's Smuggler Dick, the one who that made the map for us. Did you come all this way to give us back our gold?" I don't know what this voice is. Nimble Dick whispers and screams about his leg, to which Shagwell says, "Does it hurt? I can make it stop." And Dick holds up his bloody hands and says, "Don't," as Shagwell crushes his face with the Morning Star. And then he kills my favorite character. Nimble Dick Crab's dead. Bastard. Shagwell and Timian begin talking to Brienne as an attempt to distract her while they surround her. Timian asks why they tracked them down, and Shags dances and spins his flail and says, "It's me who she came for. She dreams every night when she sticks her fingers..." Censored. All right. "She wants me, lads. The big horse missed her marry Shags. I'm going to..." Censored and pump her full of it. You know what? I'll just stop quoting Shags now. Yeah, I tried. I wrote the quote out. I was like, I can't use that. Censored. Can't use that. Censored. And it's like, you know what? No. It's so bad. He's such a nasty character. It gets worse, and I'm just not quoting Shagwell anymore. I think I got a couple more, but yeah, but not that bad. I don't think I have any more censored there. They then fully surround her, and Timian tells her that they made it, how they made it there, and about Vargo. Brienne tells him that she is looking for a fool, and Shagwell announces happily, "I'm a fool," but Brienne says that he's the wrong fool. They tell her that the Hound has a Stark girl. Shagwell says more awful stuff that I'm not quoting, and Timian says even more nasty crap. Yeah. Over this, Brienne kills Pig effortlessly, and Timian tells Shags to get her, but Shagwell refuses since she killed a pig so easily. Yeah, I think this is a good time to say so she just kills Pig, and then it's Timian and Shagwell, and Timian's like, "You're not getting away. Get her, Shagwell." And Shagwell's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Look at him, she just killed that guy." So yeah. Podrick starts to throw stones at Shagwell, And then she sees this as an opening and then kills Timian. So Podrick keeps throwing rocks at Shagwell as he tries to get his weapon and crawl away, until he just yields. Like, he's just getting pelted with rocks. He's like, fine, ow, stop. He asks for mercy, but Brienne tells him that he has done monstrous things. Again, I'm trying to leave a lot of it out. Oh, I shalt deny it, but I'm assuming I am amusing with the japes and capers. I make men laugh, he says, but Brienne says that he also makes women weep. And he says, is that my fault? Women have no sense of humor. Jeez. Brienne makes him dig a grave with his bare hands for Dick beneath the weirwood. After he finishes digging, it's nightfall, and Shagwell's hands are bruised and bloody from digging without a shovel. She puts Nimble Dick in the hole and apologizes to Nimble Dick. She then thinks Shagwell will make an attempt now that her back is turned, and he totally does. Shagwell lunges at Brienne with a jagged rock, but she stabs him in the bowels with the dagger while she's telling him to laugh repeatedly, but he just groans and dies. Yeah, he doesn't laugh. Brienne brings the heads of the 3 sellswords to Maidenpool and leaves their bodies for the crows. Brienne later has nightmares about Pig, Timian, and Shagwell. His death is really gruesome. She describes, like, she stabs until, like, her entire arm's covered in blood. He's probably far dead. And I will talk about that symbolism. I did it in my first video for Shagwell, but I will definitely talk about it again here in the next one. But our character that we're covering died. So here we go.
Poochie's dead!
It's a tradition around here. All right, if you're new here. So, all right. Yeah, that was awful. Sorry about how messed up Shagwell is. Let's talk about some cool symbolism. I got some extra symbolism too. Some good symbolism. So there's some here with Brienne killing one of the most toxic man, right? With so much of her story about her being mistreated by toxic men, and being knocked down by the patriarchal, or yeah, you know what I mean, by the messed up society that so she killing this serial R-wordist, right, in a violent manner, stabbing him in his bowels as she tells him to laugh, is more than just a killing. This is a punishment for how he has treated women specifically, right? Stabbing him down there, specifically, like down in the bowels, and then having him saying laugh, 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 just like how he's doing it, how he is assaulting women, trying to make them laugh in his horrible, messed up, disgusting mind of, it's going back to that line when she's like, yeah, but you do awful stuff to women. And he's like, it's not my fault they don't laugh. And of course, he's not making a joke. He's assaulting them. So Brienne is doing the same thing while she's killing him, is beckoning him to laugh. It's really, really gruesome, George. Okay. So yeah, this is a very specific punishment. Saying women have no sense of humor when he assaulted them. She tells him to laugh as she stabs him in the balls. Or bowels, not balls. Probably there too. They're very close. It's a very important moment in Brienne's arc. Yeah, she's also conquering toxic males. It's her entire point as a character is that she's a true knight, even though she's a female, right? She's trying to break this glass ceiling in this extremely messed up sexist society. And pretty much her entire life, she has been told she can't do something because she's a woman. And then she's told that she's ugly because she's not fits the normal female role, right? I don't need to explain to you what Brienne's arc is. It's not a hidden one. But he is like symbolically the stand-in for all toxic masculinity, right? And she stabs him and kills him in that super extreme violent way. Anyways, I'm moving past to a different symbolism here. So I found other Cool symbolism by Red Mice at Play on a WordPress, just a blog, called it Shagwell the Fool Who Is Laughing Now. I won't give it all away, but it covers the Green Seer symbolism in the scene at the Whispers and with the Whispers itself, right? Having come from, say, Whispers itself having a lot in common with, quote, seers in the Weirwoods, the roots of the Rearwood tree at Bloodraven's cave, and Brienne being, quote, a last hero character, and Shagwell being the face in the Weirwood. So, yeah, so I suggest this read. It's really good, but there's a lot of symbolism here of her kind of being a last hero character. You also have somebody coming up from a well, which if you're familiar with the multiple theories of people sacrificing their kids, giving them to the Weirwoods by throwing them in wells. There's a lot of throwing kids in wells. This guy's coming out of a well. Shagwell's coming out of a tree. And just the Whispers themselves of the story of why it's called the Whispers, because it's a Clarence Crab, I don't have it in front of me, cuts all the heads off these people, and then they whisper their counsel to him after a wood witch brings their heads back to life. It's so sick. But yeah, that's a lot like the not being able to talk, probably can't even whisper, children of the forest that are still hooked into the Weirwood net at the bottom of Bloodraven's tree. So there's a lot of connections with that specific scene and just the area of the Whispers with Green Sea stuff, right? So yeah, there you go. I'll give the shout out again. Go check it out. If you guys just type in Shagwell the Fool theories, it will come up, but specifically Shagwell the Fool Who's Laughing Now by Red Mice Play at WordPress. Yeah, if you Google any of those words, I'm sure it'll pop up. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry, it's a rough one. I gave a lot of warnings. But yeah, I'm glad I got to film. Yeah, that's it. You guys have a good one, and I hope that didn't ruin your day. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Peace.